I'm Michael from Math Together Canada.
And I'm Perry from Math Together Canada.
Today, we have a very special episode as we have Shanna, who's also part of our Math Together team. She represented Team Canada at the European Girls Math Olympiad, or EGMO, in 2023 and 2025.
Alright, so do you just want to introduce yourself for us first?
Hi, I'm Shanna, and I'm currently a grade 12 student at Oakwood Trafalgar High School, and I represented Canada at the European Girls Math Olympiad in 2023 and 2025. This fall, I'll be attending the California Institute of Technology.
How did you first get interested in math and contest math?
I started signing up for a math contest at my school, offered starting from 4th grade, and that was my first ever experience doing math contests. And after that, I just kept on signing up for the contests that my school offered, and then my parents introduced me to more contests that were offered at tutoring schools and outside of school. So I started taking those, and then in high school I got into Olympiad math contests, qualifying for USA EGMO and such, and that's where I actually started grinding for Olympiad math and trying to actually aiming my goal at getting to the European Girls Math Olympiad.
So, when you just started doing math, did you like the math contest?
No. It was at first it was I didn't really want to do it, but I was because I actually signed myself up the first time because I didn't know what it was. And it's it was just going to be a fun experience. But then afterwards it was I kind of lost interest for a bit, but at some point starting from grade 9 or so, it was I actually got back into doing math contests for real this time, and meeting a bunch of people in the community, that aspect really helped me with continuing with my interest with doing math contests.
So what do you find most interesting about math then?
I think just the problem solving process is really interesting, because I find it really satisfying when it's I can start from a problem not knowing how to do it, and then at the end it's wow, suddenly I know how to do this new thing that I didn't know how to do before, because every single problem is basically unique in its own way, and then being able to solve it is gaining slightly a new skill at trying to solve math problems, and that process is just satisfying when I'm able to improve myself mathematically.
So, what competitions did you participate in over the years, and what were your favorites?
So over the years, I did Mathematica was my first ever contest in 4th grade, and then Caribou in 5th to 8th grade because my school offered it. And then that is Caribou was 6 times a year, so every single month I had to prepare myself to do the contest, and that's where I actually got started practicing. And then Gauss, all the Waterloo contests, starting from Gauss and then Pascal, all of that, PCF, FGH. And then in grade 7, I started taking AMC 10 for the very first time, as well as AMC 8. And then I did that up until, AMC 10, AMC 12 until grade 12. And then I made Amy for the very first time in grade 8. And then in grade 8 I also started doing SUMC, so that was my first time doing that CMS contests. And in grade 9 I also qualified for USA EGMO in grade 10, as well as the USA EGMO, and for SUMC I qualified for repechage in grade 10 for the very first time, and also EGMO, so that's where I actually started doing Olympiad math for real. And I think my favorite contest is probably the EGMO, because it's usually geo heavy, because most of the years it asks 2 geometry questions, most of the time guaranteed, and that's my favorite subject of math, so that's why I usually enjoy doing EGMO problems. And I also like it because it's the standard format of 4.5 hours per day. I think it's just more time to give me think, really helps me solve problems better, because I prefer that over speed contests.
How do you get good and in a very short time at these math contests?
I don't think I got good in a very short time, but probably just practicing over and over, just setting a goal for myself, one by one, what I wanted to achieve. Because at the beginning of grade 9, I had a list of goals that I wanted to achieve by the end of high school, and it was make CMO, make USA EGMO, make EGMO, get an honorable mention at Math Prize, and make USAMO. So I didn't make USAMO, like I never did. But the other four were just like goals one by one, like which year I wanted to achieve it, and I kind of just like aimed towards that goal every single year, and that like kind of motivated me to continue.
So earlier you talked about your interest in geometry. Can you share a little bit more about why you really like this field of math?
I think it's just it's like more straightforward to me because you're going from like step to step. Like for angle chasing, you're just like going around the diagram, seeing what you can find. Like that entire process just like feels really satisfying, and like just like staring at a diagram feels better to me than staring at numbers and like grids all day. I just like prefer that over like something like combinatorics. So just like that entire process just feels more satisfying.
So how do you balance math with other subjects, especially if you have already like committed yourself to doing many things in other subjects already?
I think I just have like a schedule that I go day by day. It also depends on like what time of the year it is and like what like is more important at the moment. So for example, if it's like February or June, then I have school exams that I need to do, then I would focus on like that more over doing math contests. But then if, for example, in like October and November, then there's a lot of math contests coming up, then I'll kind of sacrifice some studying time to do math and practice for contests a little bit. And like, for example, when I have EGMO, then the week before EGMO, then or like the few weeks before, I'll just be like doing math problems more instead of like when school is like more chill or my other extracurriculars are like not as time consuming, then I'll focus that on doing math. So it kind of just all depends on like my priorities at that moment and just trying to figure out the schedule from there.
Do you think having a dynamic mathematics schedule is better than having a fixed one, like doing like a set amount of time every day?
I think probably because like as the year goes on, like your priorities will change. You're not just like constantly focusing, like even just within math. Like in November, you're doing AMCs. That's like insanely different from practicing for Olympiad math because AMCs like I could spend an hour doing a mock. For Math Olympiad, I can't just like say, okay, I'm gonna do this in an hour. Like I don't know how long it's gonna take me to solve a single problem. So like that also just completely changes how much time I'm gonna spend on math per day. Like that just like it's a lot more helpful, I think, compared to just like saying, okay, I'm gonna spend an hour right now doing math every single day for like this specific time.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about your actual experience at EGMO. So what was your favorite experience in Kosovo this year?
I think it was definitely getting to meet like people from over 50 countries in the world. There were a lot of like socialization opportunities. I was able to talk with like a lot of different countries. So for example, like some nights we would like stay up until 3 a.m. playing cards in the hotel, or like we will learn about like their own cultures. Like at the end, the farewell party, there were a lot of like culture music playing. There was like one Polish girl who taught us like Polish dances. I think like that entire experience just makes EGMO a lot like memorable for me. Being able to like meet all these people from all over the world that I wouldn't have an opportunity to meet otherwise. And also like I was able to exchange gifts with a lot of these other participants. So Canada, we handed out like these Canada flag pins to all these other countries, and I also received like candies, postcards, or like souvenirs from other countries, and I'm able to like learn more about their culture and like what goes on in their lives back home in their country, which is like very different from how I live here in Canada.
So if you go back a few years, like what advice would you give to yourself?
I think the advice I would definitely give to myself is to not care as much about the contest results that I achieve, because I kind of just went through the process setting goals for the contest results that I want to do, and then when I didn't like receive what I wanted to get on the contest, and I'll get like really sad. I'll like try to cope with it, but I think it's like better to just not focus on it, because like the process of actually preparing for the contest was like take way longer than just like doing that one contest for a few hours, and then like that entire few hours just kind of made me really sad. But instead I could just focus on like the experiences leading up to it, like making friends in the community, or like actually enjoying the problem solving, all of that, and just like trying not focus as much, because it definitely is a lot better for my own mental health and just going with the flow a bit more instead of being really strict on myself and how I did on contests and letting it kind of define myself.
So just kind of on the topic of kind of these setbacks when you're doing these math contests. So you made the EGMO team in your grade 10 year in 2023, but then in 2024 in grade 11, you actually missed the team, but this year you came back and was on the team again. So kind of how did you deal with this setback and what did you really learn from it?
I think one thing that I definitely learned was that I should not just let that result kind of like destroy my mood for the rest of the year. I kind of took a break from doing math initially. I spent like a few months focusing on my other interests. I like read a lot of books. I wrote a lot of random short stories because I was just like doing whatever I wanted, having like actual time to do that stuff because I didn't have to do math contests anymore for basically the rest of grade 11. I focused my time on like school stuff, doing biology, classwork, taking AP exams, all that stuff outside math that I would do, and that like gave me a break to like recover my mental health and all of that stuff. And then I kind of got back into doing contests in the summer when I went to summer camps, when I went to 2 summer camps last summer, and that like being with friends doing math problems just like kind of brought my motivation back. And then in the fall of grade 12 I started like actually grinding for contests again, and because I didn't make it last year, it was also a bit better for my mental health this year because I was like, if I don't make it, then sure, whatever, I already didn't make it last year. So it's kind of just a fun thing that I was doing for myself. It's like, if I make it, great. If I don't, then okay. So I was still really glad when I made the team because it was like a final end to my math competition journey, and I got to like go again to this amazing opportunity and meet like so many different people, and like be able to represent Team Canada in general is like a really great honor. So that was just like, it made me really happy when I still made it, but I think like not being able to make it last year definitely like taught me how to be less up on myself, and just if things are great, then good. Then if they're not great, then it's not the end of the world. And my math contests aren't like the only thing that matter in my life.
So you said that one should not let his or her contest result like affect like him or her too much. So how can you like move on from like a bad contest result?
I think everyone has their own coping methods, right? Like for me, it's just like doing my other interests kind of takes my mind off of that one particular setback. Like for example, I read, I write, like I do all that stuff. I do arts and crafts. That just kind of like takes my mind off of things, gives me like a break before I come back and like rejoin the math, like the practicing for math contests. Like it just, like after a few days I start feeling better, right? It's not like I don't forever get stuck on that one setback. Like now I can joke about not making EGMO to my friends. So that just like taking time off definitely helps, is what I do to cope with not doing a lot of contests. But it's like really depends on each individual person. It's like how you try to cope with that is like completely up to you technically, because like my method definitely won't just work for everyone else.
So like after taking a break for a considerable amount of time, how do you like lock back in after?
Like finding the motivation again, a large part is definitely just like my friends, because as I mentioned, I went to like summer camp over the summer. Just like doing math again with my friends like kind of made me happy to do math again. It's like my friends didn't really care if I made EGMO or not. Like they're still gonna be my friends regardless. Like that just helped me do problems again, start doing more problems, doing the problem sets to give out at camp. Like I just started slowly from that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep on doing this because there's still another year of contests I have ahead of me. Like why not do my best and see where I can go from there.